Alright, so we're going to look at this rainbow vacuum. This is a D4 model. It's the SE special edition. Also, it's probably pretty rare. I've seen they've gone to E's, and they've got two main styles now that are completely different from this one as far as shape and function. For example, they have filters on the back where they're the exhaust. Here's the exhaust here. I don't know if I could fit an exhaust on here. I mean, I have an exhaust on the wet vac, and what that does is it captures dust that goes past the filter. You know, just things get by. So because I made a filter, because I made a video where I did the sweeper and it was just a complete and total disaster, I'm thinking that, you know, 30 years of this guy being in a dusty environment probably could use a cleaning. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to disassemble, clean, and reassemble. And I'll let you know how that goes as I start taking things apart. This guy, you know, it just pops right off. So it has these little clips on them here that hook on right there, and it holds it in place. Here's the exhaust port. It's probably a real mess. I mean, look at that. So I'm expecting quite a bit of dust and dirt and debris in this thing. The motor really doesn't sound that bad. The main thing is I wanted to check the brushes because, you know, it has been 30 years. The motor in the sweeper was August of '97. So that'll give you an idea how old it is. Do the math! So the first thing off is the gasket, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit the go button on that one and replace it. You know, it's still flexible and seems to be in good shape. Of course, it's dirty, but you know, we'll try new. So on my particular model, the serial number is down here. We'll zoom in. There's some maneuvering here, and there is the number. I am 8658409. So it's approaching the end of the D4 series. Alright, I have the 4 screws out, and oh, it does come out. So it took a little wiggling and jiggling. It was kind of set in place around here. Here's a better shot of it. You know, so it sits down in a groove. And also we have plenty of dust and dirt we're going to have to be dealing with. Okay, I see screws and clips. It looks like it's going to be fun. So I have screws down here, I have screws right here, and I have clips right here. So fun stuff as I figure this out. Alright, looks like this nut is going to have to come off. And looks like we're going to hold it with the screwdriver and take it off with a 9/16 wrench. 9/16. Put it on there like this. And there we go. Alright, looks like I didn't look up the parts names. I don't know what all these are called. You know, it's like an agitator. You know, some dirt on it. I know that's dirt because this part is black and that looks white or gray. Alright, looks like this plate comes off. Keeping all my parts together as they come off so that I know how they go together. So I'll have to be careful when I'm cleaning them up too, that they don't get spread around all over the place and I lose my orientation and have to figure it all out. All right, I'm gonna take these screws out, see what kind of trouble I can get into here. So I try and get it apart. Now this, I know this cover just pops right out. It's a pressed in cover over the bearing, kind of like a seal for the bearing, if you will. So we'll see if I have to pop that out just yet or not. Okay, that allowed the top to come loose, and we have some wiring and switches and covers, and so it looks like I need to take out the main switch here to give me some clearance. Let me do that. Okay, looks like it's time to take 5, clean up, put on some gloves. Okay, my little tip of the day. The industry I worked in required that we wear cotton gloves, not necessarily with a hole in it, but what that did is allowed the nitrile gloves to slide on and slide off. Also, there was occasions when you would be working in the heat and any sweaty palms would go into the gloves and help you out. If your hands are wet and you try and put on nitrile gloves, you're in for a fight. Okay, getting back to the job. All right, looks like the main thing is keeping track of the hardware. We got 4 screws to take the cover off, because what I'm doing is I want to inspect the brushes. It's been 30 years and I may need brushes. All right, this kind of popped off, and definitely more cleaning. Put it in my cleaning bin, and here we have our motor. Hunt down the wiring to find the brushes. Oh, it looks like it's wired in place here. Let me look at that. All right, this fan has words on it, so unfortunately I read them. And it says the OFF position is clockwise. So I'm going to put my thumb underneath here to hold it and turn it. It says finger tight only. Let's see if it comes out. See what's going on here. Nothing. Something. Oh, there it is. Okay. Off. On, finger tight only. Okay, the rotor looks pretty dirty. I mean, that's pretty common. I'll clean that up. These hooks, that wire there that's holding the brushes on is curved in, so it looks like you pop it up here. Kind of struggling with that a little bit, but it looks like you pop it up there and take out the brushes that way. So let me do that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Got another 90 years left on that brush life. Unbelievable. Wow. That is extremely robust. Unbelievable. I am totally shocked. I'm totally shocked at how well it's made. That's what I'm shocked about. Not that there's so much life left in it, but they didn't make it, you know, a teeny tiny little sliver to begin with. They actually made a high quality brush. Wow. I'm impressed. Okay, both brushes are wearing evenly, if I can speak English. So that's good. That is very important, actually, to make sure that both brushes are even. All right, looks like 2 1/4-inch screws are going to hold our capping the motor here. All right, let's see what that does. Okay, it looks like that frees the rotor. Okay, so now this is going to require a thorough examination and cleaning. I'll shine this up, make it a bright copper again, But what's even more important is on the brushes, you need to clean this surface area up too, else the first rotation will blacken it all up again. Alright, let me examine this. You can see quite a bit of debris there. Well, the stator is free. Well, that's good. I didn't have to take off a whole bunch of stuff. I still have the cord to deal with. But put this safely away here, out of the way. And then I'll get this thing cleaned up. I may not take the hose off. I may not take the clips off. Get my power cord free. Let's see what came off. Looks like we have like a thrust bearing. I need to make sure. Yeah. Got a bunch of plates in there. You see it's not a through hole anymore. I need to make sure all my plates are lined up correctly. Need to make sure this goes on correctly. There's not a top or bottom. Alright, here we go. Okay, back on the bottom, I'm going to relieve these tabs here and remove all the parts that are captured in there. My pick is curved in such a way that I actually have to get in the way of the camera. So now I've got this one started. If I can see that far away. See, there we go. That's how I did it. Now all these piece parts should come out, and it looks like it's a good thing I took it apart. It needs to be cleaned up and lubricated. Oh, I see. We have a cover, and it's curved up. So it's curved up like this on top of a sealed bearing. So this goes like that. And that sealed bearing, we'll see about that. Okay, so what I figured out is this is a shock mount. If you can see that wiggling back and forth, I guess it's for vibration. I call it a shock mount because that's what we had in industry. And so this is, you know, not industry, it's household, but I am really surprised at the high quality engineering that has gone into these things. And that is where all your costs are coming in. Now, I know these are sold by vacuum cleaner salesmen like in the olden days, you see in the 1950s movies and stuff, and their profit is, you know, 50% or greater, and their commission is, you know, 35% or greater. So there is that cost too that makes them seem prohibitively expensive, but they are quality machines, no doubt about that. Okay, these outer screws here, there were 4 of them, you know, that went here. Technically, they didn't have to come out. I took all the inner screws out, and the piece just fell down. So it is out. Let me clean it up a little bit. All right, let's see what this reveals. Let's see, how about a lot of dirt? Can you see all that dirt in there? How about now? Yeah. Okay, so this is assembled with clips and not screws. So, yep, it just flips right off. So let's see what kind of trouble I can get into when I do that. All right, they literally fall right off. Let me get over the table here. So, of course, when I'm on camera, it doesn't fall right off. There we go. Super easy. Typically, I disassemble everything and show reassembly to make the video shorter. But anyway, in this video, it looks like I'm going with disassembly. And ooh la la, what a bunch of dirt. Wow. So, this is the workhorse. Oh, look at all those swirls of dust and dirt and debris. I need to make sure I keep the orientation correct. So, yeah, definitely need to make sure that none of this gets messed up. So that's riveted in there. There are the rivets. So we're down to the bearing, and it does pop out. It is sealed. In case you didn't know about sealed bearings, that's more of a dust cover. You can actually pry that rubber off very carefully and re-grease it if you want to. I don't know if it may feel a little dry. We'll see. Okay, I decided 30 years was long enough. I got my pick just down here in one corner, and as you can see, the seal, as it were, just pops right off. The bearing is definitely in need of attention. It's not worn, there's not a lot of grit in there, it doesn't feel rough, so it's well worth cleaning up and putting back together. Okay, the gloves are off. And I don't know how much cleaning and disassembly I'm going to show. I'm kind of set here. I know everything's not 100% taken apart, but I don't want to become lost and disorganized in all these piece parts here, how they're stacked and how they go. So I think I'm going to just start cleaning and reassembling from here. I have my bearing in here. I'll be cleaning that and getting this all together, and I'll be kind of reassembling in the same way I disassembled it. You know, it's kind of like back in the olden days when you actually had to do this on your car. It was part of the maintenance, like changing oil. You know, you just got your wheel bearing, got your handful of grease and got your wheel bearing, and you just kind of gooped it all in there. Fun stuff. Fun, fun, fun. Just pushed it all in there, all through, every which way, off camera so no one can see what you're doing. Absolutely fantastic fun. Seal number 1, seal number 2. And there we go. Alright, I'll just put that there for now. You know, I don't know why step 1 is grease, because now you got grease all over the place. And you gotta try and keep it from getting all over the place. Alright, let me get this thing back together, put another part in. Got these two to clean up and put in. Remember how it went? Take pictures as you go along. This comes up. So let me clean these pieces and press them in place. Everything is dirty. Alright, let's see. This goes in the groove. Then this is going to go in here. I just grabbed a 31/32. I'm sure other sizes will work. Alright, let's start going this way. Well, it's pretty clear that I can only get it so clean. I can't get it factory new clean. I mean, I would have to spend a heck of a lot of time cleaning out all these veins, and I'm just not going to do it. I see some dirt there on the left, so just get it as clean as I can. Okay, let me orient this for reassembly. There are two tabs that have like a plate on the bottom and two tabs that don't. The two tabs that don't have this plate on the bottom will fit in the groove here when it's all assembled correctly. This is the bottom, the working end that spins around. This is the top, the motor end. Alright, so we're going to do some flipping. I hope you don't become disoriented. So we'll take this off. And there's this spacer here. It's universal. There is no top and bottom. See, I marked it. I marked that. All my marks are for the bottom. So that'll go on there, but it's universal. It doesn't matter. Your first plate. You see I marked it. The large hole is going on the bottom. The small hole is going on the top. Like that. Then we come to the large plate. The smaller hole is going on the bottom. And the large hole with the large plate is going on top. Then we have this hourglass spacer. The lined part of it is going to the top. So you see I marked the bottom. So that'll go on there like that. And then this one was the large hole is going on the bottom and the small hole is going on the top. And then this is all assembled on the motor end. Okay, we're now looking at the top. The motor and is going to sit on top of here, and it's going to be enclosed. And so how does that go together? Well, the bearing cup sits up like this. The spacer goes on there like that. And then the bearing goes in. So there's several ways to do that, you know. Actually, what I showed you is a little bit rough. It's better to put it in the cup like this. We'll have the cover up just like that. That's the way it came out. So it just sits in there like that, and the shaft will go right through. Of course, you got to line everything up. You know, you may have to stick something through there to get it all lined up for the shaft to go completely through, but we'll deal with that later. Alright, when assembling the housing, you need to make sure all your electricals are set up correctly. You have three electrical cords to deal with, wires. So one is the power cord. Just plug it in here. Plug that in first, second, third, whatever. This only goes on one way. The cord goes in the back. This is the front. You need to make sure that your plug for the sweeper is in place. And you need to make sure your coil is all the way through. And then you can set it in place and screw it down. There's all these little tabs here. You need to make sure they're on the inside, and it should just assemble correctly and the holes line up. Maybe if I can do this on camera. Maybe I should be like everyone else and do it off camera and say how easy it is. That's why. Okay. There we go. Alright, we'll reassemble the motor. It doesn't matter which way it goes. In other words, it only goes on one way, but the flat is on the side. You can't put the round end on the side. See how the coils keep it from doing that? So you just set this in place. Then we'll get our rotor on and fish it through, make sure everything's hooked up correctly, and then we'll screw it down before we put the bushings in. Alright, that wasn't too bad. It went in fairly easily, I wouldn't kid you. We could put our fan on top too, that needs to go on. And remember, it says off and on, do not over tighten. Finger tight only. Alright, only use your fingers. Okay, we'll get the brushes in, and the only reason you have to do that later, like, you know, after we attach it, is because the screws are covered up by the brushes. So, alright, let's see if I can keep my fingers out of the way. Everything has to be lined up. The clip has to be in the groove. And then we'll just plug in our terminal here and do the other side. Oh no, I messed up. This half doesn't go on yet. Let me take it off, and then I have to mount the motor assembly. Sorry about that. Let me do that. Okay, that was fun. Alright, I have everything oriented correctly. I also note that there are small screws and big screws, so these larger screws are going to hold the housing on top of the motor assembly, and all these smaller screws are going to hold the plate and the shield in place all around here. Let me get those smaller screws in, and we'll go on from there. Okay, the brush wires just come out the bottom here, and it's going to be facing forward. Forward is indicated by the electrical connection for the sweeper, so that when you put the lid on, all your electrical is forward by the switch. Comes down, you have your sweeper, you have your brushes, and then the power cord goes in the back over here. Alright, I'm going to do a quick check, make sure I don't smell anything bad. Probably smell a little bit, but you know, there's no smelling on video. And make sure it sounds okay, make sure no plastic is melting, you know, something is not assembled correctly. So here we go. Alright, let's put on the bottom cover, which I put on too early a while back, or anyway, I showed how it went on. It fits in the grooves over here, now that I'm thinking about it. So let me line everything up, set it in place. Alright, it actually went in quite easily after it was all lined up, so let me screw it down. Also, you want to keep a low setting. I'm going to be on 4 here, but typically I was on 6. The last thing you want to do is strip out that plastic. I know how to repair it. I did a quickie video on that on one of my Volvo videos. So anyway, I don't want to do that here. Then we have our spinner, which slides on there. It should be a tight fit, but spins freely. Then we have our cover, and I'll screw that down. Gets these little dark screws here. See if I can get one in place. And do that 3 more times. Okay, next we put on this lock nut. This lock nut holds this spinner here to the shaft. That's very important because technically that spins the basket. So we'll get our 9/16 and put a little Snuggadalicious on there. Don't have to go overboard. Then our basket, note how it's keyed to look like a nut because it goes on the nut. And we screw on the end. And we should have a vacuum cleaner back to life. Oh, the seal here. I have a new one on order. I think it was 10, 12 bucks. I don't know. $10.95 plus tax. Who knows? Anyway, that goes on here like this. I decided to get a new one because it's like 30 years old and we have a new water container. Spent the money on that, so I'm going to just spend the money on the seal here too. Kind of silicone down, it'll look like that. Alright, let's see what happens if I put some electrons through it here. All right, now I'll get the wife back to work. Anyway, yeah, I'll get it back together and she can use it if she wants to.